Welcome, everyone. We are here live tonight with Miss Teresa Lee. Teresa, wave your hands in this group of Brady Bunch here.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Everyone wave. These are going to be some of your incredible guests tonight. We're going to tuck them down and we're going to focus in on Lisa because tonight, what is happening here? What is happening tonight, everybody? Teresa's book lunch. Hold up that book. Hold up that book. Let's see this. Let's see this. All right. Yeah, everybody hold it up. Yes, there it is. Now say that loud and proud.
Chasing easy in a life of hard choices, failed marriages, unplanned pregnancies, and the God who restores.
Excellent. This is so exciting. If all of you who have arrived here, I see people popping up all the time. Please tell us where you're from, where you're watching this from, and share it with all of these amazing people because this is a book that's just not about Teresa's life. This is a book that she has felt called to really deliver to all of you. And Teresa, you want to share anything real quick before we pop into this trailer?
Just that it was absolutely a journey. And it was one that I tried to run away from for 7 years and did not have any peace until I actually started writing. So it was a journey and it wasn't an easy one, but it was worth it. And
Awesome.
Pastor Josh, who is one of the guests, told me that there is somebody that's waiting on the other side of my obedience. And so this was my obedient act.
Agreed. Josh is nodding. He's like, yep, there it is. Oh, I popped him down. We got to see that book again. He's even a believer, man. He's got it right there. Thanks, Josh. We'll talk to you soon. All right, Teresa, thank you so much for sharing that. You guys ready for the trailer? If you're ready out there, drop down in the comments below. Trailer, let's see it. I'm so excited. I see 10 people up here live. Let's blow this thing up. Get it shared. Ready, everybody? We are going to show this incredible trailer. Here we go. Wow, look at that. We have people here from Florida. We have people here from Maryland. Maryland is in the house. Oh my goodness, so many people are here. We love it. Kentucky is here. You guys are showing up, popping up live. Thank you so much. Drop those comments. Keep them coming. You guys are incredible. I mean, I am watching it here on my phone blow up. You guys have it. You have it going on. Teresa, this shows ultimate support. This is fantastic. Incredible. I'm just so proud of you. How are you feeling right now at this time?
I'm a little emotional because it's actually come to this, and I didn't really expect that it would ever come to fruition, and it has. But it's because of the support of the people that I have in my life that have helped me to reach this pinnacle, and it's God's story. So I'm a little emotional. I'm overwhelmed with joy, truly.
Fantastic. The concept, the connection, all of it is absolutely real. Connected wise, we're here. And this story now can reach out and touch everywhere. Girl, let it flow. This is fantastic. It is a journey. And it's just like when you cross that finish line of a marathon, you're just going to let it all flow. And I'm just so proud of you tonight. I think it is incredible. Really, really amazing, amazing work here. So we've got tons of people down here below ready to pop in at any minute. And I'm just trying to get everybody all lined up and get them on here. So we're going to take these people and get them going here.
Okay.
I'm popping them in. Come on. Got to drop down this and pull that up. All right, you guys, let's get this thing rolling. So Teresa, while we're pulling up all of the guests, share with us a little bit about what prompted you to start to write this.
I was seeing a counselor, and I was on my way to the last session seeing her. And instead of the normal formalities, she said, "You need to write a book." And on my way to see her, I was actually praying, "Lord, you need to just hit me upside the head with what you want me to do, because I have no idea what you want me to do." And for 38 years, I did my things my own way and didn't know the Lord. But now I was all in. And she said, "You need to write a book." She said, "Out of all of the clients that I have seen, no one has lived and experienced all three options that you have when you have an unplanned pregnancy." And I immediately wrote her off. And I thought, "You're crazy. If the Lord wanted me to write, then he would have told me directly. He wouldn't have gone through somebody else." And that wasn't at all what happened. So for 7 years, I delayed the obedience. I wasn't obedient, which is disobedience, by the way. And then I finally, with COVID, that was a blessing, because I finally got to writing. I didn't have anything else to do. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start writing. And so I did. And what you hold in your hands, or what you may order, is the culmination of 42 years of life stuff, hard stuff, and the God who restored me to where I am today.
Excellent. Well, we've got ourselves our first guest, Mr. Michael Martinelli. Did I say that right? No, I didn't.
Martelli.
Martelli. I'm just adding
Yes.
ends and everything else. Welcome. We are so excited that you are here this evening. And, you know, for Teresa, you are an incredible book contributor, and you were one of the first people to really ask, you know, how things are going and how to share that testimony. So Lisa and Michael, let's see what it is that brought you here today.
Yeah, I've known Teresa for several years now. I was involved in a pro-life ministry, started back in 2009, and Teresa was one of the first people I met along the journey. And we started a local community cable access television show, and had Teresa on the show and did an interview, and she started to share her story, and it was incredible. And so from that moment on, I knew that she had a special gift that God was going to use, and use in a big way. And we kept in touch, and she kept calling me and telling me about this book. And I kept saying, "Write the book, write the book." And finally she said, "I'm writing the book." And I said, "All right, that's awesome." And then she asked me to contribute, and we talked about a couple different options, and we landed on chapter 14. It's Raining Men. And I was able to put together a list of what I believe to be godly traits of a godly man. And the reason that we put that in the book, I think the reason Teresa chose to put that in the book, was to give women hope, both those that don't have a man yet, that there actually are godly men out there, and anyone that may even have a man that's not godly at this time, that you can pray for them, and you can look at the good things that they have, and you can find the good in them and encourage them and pray for them and bring them along. So I really think that masculinity in the country is been under attack for years, and it's hard to be a godly man in this culture. And I'm glad that Teresa was able to let me contribute a little bit, and I know that God is going to do amazing things with the book.
Amazing. Yes, everyone, flip that to chapter 14. If this is something that you need in your life, Teresa, you did the absolute right thing for this. Would you like to share any more with it, Teresa?
I just, Mike was the one that invited me to publicly speak for the first time. And of course, my heart was in my throat. And I thought, there's no way I can do it. And he was instrumental. We did a bike ride, a bike drive, and he was just instrumental in giving me the courage initially, all those years ago, to be able to share my testimony.
it wasn't one that I readily shared. But because of you, I have landed here, and your contribution to the book is going to impact so many lives, not just women. And my question would be, do you think this book is just for women?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's another thing about our country today, and the constant chant that life is a women's issue, and that excludes half of the parties involved in the decision for birth, adoption, abortion, or whatever the case may be. And so I think that it is going to change lives of women, and I think that men are going to read it, and they're going to see as well that their voice needs to be heard, that they need to be included in the decision, and that they need to grieve, right? I mean, that's another thing that men aren't allowed to do at this time in our culture. And there are millions of men running around everyday life that are suffering in a way that you are familiar with, Teresa, and having lost a child and possibly, contributed to that. And, they need prayer, they need forgiveness, they need a voice. And I think your book is really gonna allow that to come out.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Mike. We'll see you later. If you've got other things to do or you want to come on back, thank you so much for being a part of this, Mike.
He's celebrating a 16-year-old birthday party, so he jumped on as a favor. Thanks, Mike.
Yes,
thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Awesome. Wow, what an incredible journey for all of that to really happen, to see that message pop in and be a part of something so powerful. I think we've got Lisa on here next, so I'm going to just pop down here. I don't see Lisa yet, but we will just keep moving forward until we see her. So our next guest.
I may have an email, so I'm going to look, because there are lots of people that said that they're not able to get on.
Oh, they just need to go to the Facebook page. I see lots of people hanging out. Just go to that Facebook page. We see Mary, we see Lisa, we see Kim, we see Terry, Jor, we see so many people watching here live, and it's fantastic. So we can move on into David. He's here, and let's jump on in, and we'll see. We can cross back over to Lisa when she pops in. All right, there's David.
Hi,
guys. Hey, you got yourself a fire alarm happening at the school.
Seems like yes. It is amazing. If anything go wrong, it shouldn't. We know that's the enemy, so we're just going to keep moving forward. We've had COVID testing positive here and everything that could go wrong, but we're here, and let's go.
Excellent, David. We are here. We're excited that you're here. Thank you so much to fight through it, even with everything else happening in your life. So, growing up with the author, Miss Teresa's brother, what are any memories or surprises or anything like that has occurred, I think, with this writing of the book?
Well, I'll just tell you, it's you mentioned, I got to know Teresa kind of third party. I was friends with her brother, and we were a motley crew. There was three of us that kind of ran together, and our fun in high school just escalated as we got out of high school and our latter years, to the point of landing in prison, making horrible choices, making choices based on not knowing who we were in Christ, and just living for the moment, living for our flesh, living for pleasure. And Randy and I, our first trip to jail, prison was together here in Texas. And but it would be a few years later. I call it, I'd get a little Bible every time I'd go to prison, and we called it a little jailhouse religion. We'd pray to God to get us out of there, but not really to change our lives or change our heart. So as a few years went by, Randy found himself in a prison in Arizona, and myself in a prison in Texas. And we found out each other was locked up, and if we didn't have anybody else, we had each other to write. But what we found out similar was happening in each of our lives is we were developing relationships with Christ. And I remember Randy would write me and encourage me, and just seeing in the book that Randy was trying to lead his sister to Christ. I can identify with that. When I truly came to the Lord in prison, the first people you want to go save is your family, but they're like you're going to tell me about Jesus? Like,
But
you're
I
the
did.
biggest knucklehead in our you're the biggest knucklehead in our family. Like, are you kidding me? And my family on my side had seen some jailhouse religion. They had seen me go to jail, read the Bible, and come out, and nothing had changed about my life. I mean, I even remember one time I got out, and Teresa, I shared this with her the other day. There's that fire alarm again. There ain't no fire, but we got an alarm. But Randy had lost his battle in prison, and I even showed up at his funeral because I knew in my heart the right thing to do and the right place to be, and I wanted to bear witness at his funeral. But because the flesh in me and my life wasn't totally surrendered and sold out to Christ, I showed up at a funeral. Trying to say all the right things, but still no inner change had happened in my life. It would be a few years later before things would happen. And just a little backdrop, that's what opened my heart to ministry. And the ministry that we got down here in Texas today is a prison ministry. And we're in 20 some prisons down here in Texas. And 4 or 5 of those are women's prisons. And so after reading the book, I was like undone by what an impact this would have, because I deal every day in the women's prisons. A lot of women come to prison and they're even pregnant in prison, but a lot of them have had abortions. They've given their babies up for adoption, all these different things. So, and I'm sure those questions are going to come in a minute. I probably went a little bit fast and went a little forward, but just growing up, knowing Teresa, after reading the book, I would have never known these things were going on in her life. A lot of things in life we can mask, and we don't know a person really the way we think we know them. And so to read the book and see what all God has done, it's all glory to God. But what we want to minister and what we want to give hope to is you don't have to go this path. What I tell people in prison, and I speak because of my experience of speaking in prisons. I speak in a lot of high schools and stuff, and I go in there and these high school students tell me, "You got a great testimony." I'm like, "No, I don't. You have a great testimony." I said, "There's 2 types of wisdom in life. There's man's wisdom, which we learn from our mistakes, which we should. But there's a better type of wisdom, and that's God's wisdom. Learn from others' mistakes." So that's why I'm so happy to see this book. And Teresa is transparent and vulnerable and shares all of her mistakes that she's made and bad choices she's made. So others don't have to make the same mistakes. And others that maybe have made the same mistakes, they don't feel the condemnation, the shame, because God never shames us. He never condemns us. He I tell people all the time, there's 2 types of fingers that get poked in your chest, and one's the finger of the enemy. He pokes his finger in your chest and tells you you're dirty, you're guilty, you'll never change. This is who you are, and he identifies us with our choices and with the things we've done versus Christ. He puts his finger in our chest, but then he pulls his finger back and he opens his arms and says, "Come to me. I've got an answer for all this. I've got healing for all this. I want to heal up your wounds, and I want to teach you from this so you can teach others." And he always uses our messes for ministry, our messes for messages. So just blown away by the book. So thankful. I see great opportunities for it to be used in the prisons, but even before prison. I mean, there's so many ministries here in Texas, women's ministries that are ministering to girls that, they don't have to go to prison. I tell people all the time, you don't have to go to prison to be saved. You don't have to get an abortion to be saved. Let's do it on the front side. Anyway.
You got to get me out there, brother.
Well,
Right.
that it's on the agenda. The airfare's already paid for. We're just waiting for you. So we'll figure it out.
All right.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, David. Your ministry, founder of Charm Prison Ministries. People go there, visit them, and see what you can do to help to contribute. Thank you so much, Dave. All right. Wow. Teresa, you have had so many people contribute, so many people be a part of this. I think it is time to now add a gift. How many of you out there want a gift? Type in the chat below. Gift. We have $100 gift card from the Chart House Laundry Restaurants. Anyone out there want that? The first person to type in me. I'm going to just see who's going to be our winner here. And see, I'm popping it in here. And it is Kim Holmes, who is watching from Finksburg.
Yay, Kim!
Kim, I'll put you down here. I got to type this in. The first gift card. Wow. Of $100. Enjoy that dinner. Take out your loved one and go for it. Congratulations, Kim Holmes. Fantastic. Awesome. Well, as we get back into this, Teresa, your heart's been touched, our heart's been touched, and it is a fantastic, amazing thing. I just love seeing how so many people are here and to see what it is that they can do. I'm thinking that we can, while we're waiting here for Lisa to pop back up, we can then go to another one. We can go to, let's see, where else are we
Pastor
headed
Josh?
into? Pastor Josh, let's go for it. All right, Josh, are you ready? I think you are ready. He's going to jump on in.
Always
Hello,
ready.
Josh.
Let's do it.
Always ready. Yeah, he was here early and he's ready. Okay, Josh.
Great to be
Let's
with
see.
you. Yeah, I'm so glad
Yeah.
to be here.
Let's ask these questions. So, what's your overall impression of chasing easy in a life of hard choices? What's your first impression about this?
I just feel like it's going to speak to so many different groups of people, right? I think people get inspired by success, but they really connect over struggles. And I was just so impressed with Teresa's authenticity. In this book, she kind of sets aside her impressive image, she sets aside her persona, and chooses breathtakingly honest, just this retelling of her story. And I'm not the most emotional person, but I cried twice reading this book. I think it's going to touch so many different people.
Thank you, Pastor Josh.
Oh, camera's going crazy. Just like the alarms that fire off. So, thank you so much for sharing all of that. What is the greatest reaction from the content of that you have been impacted by, and how do you think that message of hope is going to be, shared out there? How God, the God who restores, how can that really be received?
Yeah. First of all, I just think because she's so honest about her pain, let me just read you a quote from C.S. Lewis. He said, "Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures. He speaks in our consciences, but he shouts in our pain. It's a megaphone to rouse a deaf world." And I think because she's so raw and honest with her pain, and pain is the universal leveler, everybody experiences pain. And I so appreciate, Teresa, that you spoke from your scars and not for wounds. There was not a hint of toxicity or jadedness or bitterness. There was just this tone of hope. And I think anyone reading this book is going to realize that God is a God who can restore anything. The idea that something is beyond repair is not in God's vocabulary. And so people that have a wrong image of God, I believe this book is going to help give them a fresh picture of the nature of God and the goodness of God, and that he actually can, when you give him ashes, he can give you beauty. And it's just so obvious through this whole story.
Amazing, amazing. The God who restores. Teresa, what do you have to say about that?
Well, Pastor Josh volunteered. Well, I gently asked, and he agreed to write the foreword in the book. But his reaction, he sent me, I don't know, it was either in Slack or a text message. We've got all these different platforms, right? But his response to me made me cry from reading the book. And I thought, oh my goodness, but it is God's work. And he's the one that brought it to fruition. But I will say too, you mentioned, there's not a hint of bitterness or jadedness in the book. I left that out. Because when you're going through stuff, you do go through the ebbs and the flows and the valleys. And I was there. Even in the writing process. And we'll probably get to that when Ron comes up. But, I wanted to give up and throw in the towel. But that comment that you made, that somebody is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And I don't know if that was from 252 or the nines or whatever it was, has stuck with me. And daggone it, it's your fault that this book is out. So, yay.
I'm so glad.
Exactly.
I'm so glad. And there's going to be so many people that are so glad.
But I do appreciate you.
Agreed. Thank you so much, Josh. If there's anything else you want to share with us, let's go ahead and bring it out, because tonight has been really this award, this celebration, everything. I think it is an award because you go through the journey, just like running that marathon. You might not have been first across the finish line, but that's not the point. point is you finished, right? The point is you finished. So that is one of the greatest awards. And now we're sharing it live. I can see people dropping down the links on that Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble. Please drop down the link for her book. We want to be able to put this in the hand of everyone. And before I forget, I apologize because I want to put Pastor John on the ticker running underneath. I apologize for that. I left David's up there
Pastor
for a little bit
Josh,
longer. So
it's there.
Josh. Oh my goodness, Pastor Josh. So thank you so much, everybody. I mean, it has been an amazing, amazing thing. Thank you, Josh. And we'll tuck you on down and come up with our next guest tonight. I think it's ready for, should we pull up Terry, or do you want to try and give out another gift card? What's your call, Teresa?
Let's give another gift card.
Okay, we're going to give out another gift card. This is for another $100 gift card from the Chart House Landry Restaurants. And I'm going to pull it up here based on what I see coming up on the Facebook feed. Okay. All right. Let's see it.
Who's going to win?
Jen Torres. Torres.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. I got to type this down to her. You are the winner of the second gift card. Yes. Excellent. Congratulations.
You have to take me to dinner, though.
Okay. All right.
That's the condition.
Okay, Jen. That's only fair, right? Okay. Fantastic. Let's bring up here Terry. Terry's been waiting in the wind here. We want to get her up and ready to go. Hey, Terry.
Hi, girlfriend.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm good.
So this part has been amazing. Terry, you have been a lifelong friend for over 45 years.
Yep, I sure have.
So I bet you have a few stories you could tell.
Not many.
Many, huh?
I paid her.
What year shall we start with?
Right. As that lifelong friend, what surprised you the most about reading her story?
Actually, what I was the most surprised about is how I could be there in the moment and not fully grasp and understand exactly what she was feeling. Because I think we both know each other so well that we can actually speak for each other, finish each other's sentences. So that was really surprising. As I started reading the book, I was texting her and I said, I feel like you're sitting right next to me and telling me this, that I'm not even reading it. And yet at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not see that? How did I not know? As close as we were. And she said, because I really hit it well, didn't I? I was brought to tears. I'm emotional right now. I always held her in the highest of esteem. I've always thought the world of her and loved her dearly, and idolized her. I thought she had it so together. Sure, we saw each other's bad choices, but just thought that was, a growing thing. Didn't realize everything that she was going through and what she was feeling exactly. So that was surprising to me.
It is. Teresa, how do you want to respond to that?
We've had so many exchanges over these 45 plus years. She was another one that I think you sent me a message or a text. It was a text. It was a series of text messages. And I was surprised at her response because, she's one of those friends that you've known for so long. She will always be your friend because there's too much blackmail material, right?
Absolutely.
And so her reaction, her response, and the surprises to her about how well I hid my pain surprised me. It surprised. But the other part that surprised me too is that it was almost like she was blaming herself that she didn't see it, that she didn't know. And so this is a message for anybody out there listening that you're not always going to know. If we don't want you to know, you're not going to know. And one of the chapters in the book is called Masquerade Charade. And I should have won whatever awards the actresses win. What are they, Grammys?
Academy.
An Oscar.
Academy. I should have
Award.
won. Yeah, Grammy is music. And that's definitely not me because I can't sing. But anyway, so I think that her response, her reaction, and the way that she felt after reading it really just touched my heart and told me that if you really want to prevent somebody from knowing the real, true you, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's not healthy and it's not good for you. So that vulnerability that's in that, I mean, what's in this book is pretty raw.
Right.
And it was healing.
Gran. It is amazing to see how it can heal. So, Terry, was there one topic that kind of challenged your perspective the most when you were reading this?
No, I don't think so, because I was pretty much with her throughout the book. We've known each other that long. We met shortly after you had the abortion. So, and she was honest with me about it, but not to the degree that she was in the book. You know, I didn't know all that pain that she went through. And my heart just broke reading it. I'm constantly in awe of all that she accomplishes. But reading that book, I can't tell you what it did for me as her friend. I was like, wow, blown away. I'll share a story. When she decided to give Carly up for adoption to keep her, I was again in awe, because I thought, wow, what a strong person she is to make that decision to give this child life and a good home. And I was so proud of her. I was sick the morning she gave birth. She was to give birth. I was going to be there. Her mom called me, and Mama Jean was so upset. She was so upset. She did not want her grandchild to be put up for adoption. And I said to her, I said, Miss Jean, I said, you got to trust Teresa. I don't fully understand it either, but I know that she did not want the other choices. And I agree with her on the other choices. That's not the way to go. So we have to believe in her, that she's making the right choice. And her mom took a deep breath and she said, I know it's best. So I wanted to share that with you, my girlfriend. I'm not sure I ever did.
You didn't.
But that was the conversation her mom and I had that day. So I love you, Treese. I'm always
Love
so
you
impressed.
Thank you, my girlfriend.
Excellent. Thank you, Terry, so much. We will tuck you down, and wow, one of those on-screen surprises. Incredible. Teresa, why don't you have a box of tissues next to you?
I know, I should.
You're going to be running down your arm, your sleeve. You're going to have your dress all in your face. Oh,
It's real.
wow.
It's real.
It's real, and it's here. It's real, and it's here. How about we bring on Dawn? Dawn's been waiting in the back there. She's wiping out. We've got Dawn here. Let's go ahead and bring you on, Miss Dawn.
Are you crying? No.
Oh, you're muted. Unmute
She's
yourself,
muted.
girl. Unmute yourself. Let's see if we can. Oh.
Been crying from the
There
beginning.
she goes.
Oh.
She says she's been crying from the beginning. So this is Dawn. Oh, there she goes.
There
I
you
bet
go.
Ron handed that. There you go. So this is Miss Dawn. And Dawn, as you can see, going down underneath us on the ticker, she is a friend as well as a pastor and a lead pastor. So share with us a little bit about this whole connection with this. How did the author's message speak to you?
It was actually surprising, which is kind of been a theme that I'm hearing, Terry, Michael, all of them kind of say. I think I thought I was reading this book to have as a resource. And I read this book, and it will definitely be a resource, but it also spoke to me personally. And she even says on page 144, she talks about like kind of her prayer. Teresa, you say, And you basically wanted to invite us to allow God to show us in this book in unlikely ways of, you know, how he can speak to us. And that's exactly what he did. It definitely spoke to me. I told Teresa I read it in 2 settings. I didn't want to put it down the first time. I literally had to. And it was one of those books that I was so glad when I could get back to and was able to finish it.
Wow, impactful. That is what happens when we read something that's so inspiring and encouraging. So, has there been anything in particular that the audience that you think would this be best suited for?
I thought about that and like to be okay. So I want to answer the question of like who should read this book, and then I'll explain to you maybe how this book impacted me. I feel like this book is going to span age brackets, obviously male and female. I feel like a young person is going to read this book and like someone said a minute ago, it's going to help us avoid different things, right? Or it's going to remind them that they're not alone in a mistake or a decision that they made. But then I also feel that it's going to bring healing to the women that have never been able to even vocalize parts of Teresa's story that, you know, ring true in their own. I love that you have included the man's perspective. I just love that because in these scenarios, adoption, abortion, birth, a lot of times, you know, we focus on the female and the hurt and the, you know, decision and the weight and the heaviness that they carry. And we don't hear the man's perspective. And it's just the same. They are suffering and struggling. And so I love how you shared, you know, different perspectives. The man's perspective was great. So I obviously know women are going to connect with this, but I feel like it would be a book I can recommend to men as well. Yeah.
I think that's what surprised me.
Yeah.
Is the feedback that I got from men. You know, I'm thinking my audience is going to be women.
Yeah.
And the feedback that I got from men and some that I don't even know.
Right.
Sent it to an email, chasingeasy@gmail.com with some feedback. And it's, you know, God knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. He told me I needed to include those that had a lost chance at fatherhood because they don't have a voice.
Right.
So,
yeah, it reminded me to remember the men on the other side too. Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We are all part of this together. It isn't a one-sided issue. It is a family issue. And so, Teresa, thank you for looking at the whole family of God because we're all in this together. Yeah. And we're really good at separating, tucking everybody into whatever category. And God the whole time is saying, one, y'all. I know it's a hard word. One. So thank you for putting in that perspective. It's very, very helpful. Great job. Thank you so much, Dawn. And, you know, stay on until the end. We'll bring everybody all back up here. Excellent. All right. Are we ready for Mr. Ron? Are we ready for giving out your book and the water bottle? What would you like to do?
Let's bring up my honey. Let's bring up Mr. Ron.
All right, here he comes.
Hi,
Ron.
Even though you're in the next room.
Well, hello, everybody.
Ron, you are the dude. You are Teresa's husband, and you were the first set of eyes to read the complete manuscript. So I want to know, what was your response?
Well, certainly. But first, I want to say thanks to everybody that's joined in this launch. It certainly means a lot to both of us, and I know that it's a tremendous amount of joy for Teresa. Yes, I read the initial manuscript of the book. Teresa had an event that evening, which was about 3 hours. I think it was from 6 to 9. She handed me the manuscript and told me to take my time whenever. Well, now Teresa knows that I'm not a big reader. I have I've done my time in reading. I usually go through these different spats of reading a lot. I haven't done that in a long time. I sat and read that manuscript in 3 hours. I have to say that in a lot of the parts of the book, I was heartbroken for her, but I started to recognize how strong that she is as a person and as a woman. There are probably a lot of areas in the book, I think, that from the men's perspective, I think that it will help men to understand what a woman's struggles are, particularly a woman who has struggled early in her life, for a man to understand where she's coming from when she is trying to come out of that hole that she feels that she has dug for herself. So, and throughout the book, I had goosebumps just reading the words and how eloquently she put so many things and how she tied in the Word of God in every aspect of the book.
Amazing. Oh, look at this. Husband, wife, great support. Speaking of the support, what was it like supporting her through the process? Because
Be nice.
you know it's a process.
Be nice.
So Teresa said up front in the very beginning that it was 7 years in the making, 7 years of disobedience, and then she didn't find peace until she started obeying God's intention. Well, I can tell you, I didn't see much of that peace when she started writing, but I'm only kidding. It definitely is a process. It is a very difficult process, and it's a very long journey. Teresa so many times just wanted to give up. She just didn't feel like she had what it took, but I stood by whatever decision she made, but continued to encourage her to complete the book because I felt there was so much importance in what she had to say and what she needed to share with the rest of the world. We live in a world today that some folks don't understand the various choices, and I think that someone reading the book will understand that they do have choices, and they have better choices that they can make. So I also worked very hard to give her the time and the space that she needed. And I think one of the things that, or a couple of things that are needed in, at least from the person that is supporting the author, that they serve that person in whatever way or whatever capacity is needed. When they're on their computer banging away at a chapter, you have to be at least be somewhat of a decent cook. So you got to prepare the meals. You got to bring her whatever she needs in sustenance so that she can keep going. And so I found that I just needed to serve her in any way that I could to try to ease some of the stress that she was feeling in putting this book together. And it's not just the words that she was putting on, but it's the memories that she was starting to recognize or started to feel that made it even more painful for her. So not only serving her, but also being very patient with her. There were those moments and times where, when I say that there wasn't always peace, there were moments and times where she was exasperated, or she was just wore out from trying to pour her heart into this book. And I just had to be patient with her and understand that she was going through a very difficult process. And I don't mean just writing a book, I mean writing her memories is a very difficult process in itself.
It is. It is such a process to go through it and reopen, revisit, put it down. It is a challenge. Teresa, share with us how you're feeling. I mean, we have a hint of it, but share if you can.
When he talks about serving me, it wasn't just in the book writing process. I mean, he has a servant's heart, and this man absolutely cherishes me and would do anything in the world for me. And if you read the book and you see how other relationships were and the failed marriages and how I came to a point of, I'm just giving up. I'm not doing this. I'm putting on man repellent. I don't want anything to do with anybody. And then he comes into my life and as a friend for many, 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 many years. But when I realized that my feelings were starting to change, I thought, oh no. I'm not ready for this. I don't want this. And we went to dinner one night and I spilled out everything. And my true hope was I was self-sabotaging. Anybody ever do that? I was self-sabotaging. I wanted him to turn around and walk away from me because I was so messed up and I had so much baggage and I didn't think that I deserved anything other than what I had already had. And he stayed there and he stuck with me and he still does to this day. We'll be celebrating 10 years of marriage, but it was part of God's plan all along. So when I say the God who restores, the beauty of how we came to be as a couple is the unfolding of the beauty of Christ. And there's no other explanation for it. And he served me while I was writing. He was there to hold me when I was going through pictures that I put in the book, when I was crying over the pictures. He was there to embrace me, to hold me, to comfort me. And he is a very good cook. So sometimes maybe I wasn't even really writing just so he would bring me a meal. But it was wonderful. I can't imagine having gone through this with anybody else. I mean, he's an amazing man. And no, ladies, before you ask, he does not have any brothers that are available. Okay.
I'm glad you put it out there because I can see on the comments coming up, swipe right, swipe left or something. Right? Amazing. Thank you so much, Ron, for being here, for being a part of her life, this 10-year together, knowing and growing that as God put this on your heart, that now the impact is really happening, and to be there and to serve and now to see the end result and to see things go beyond. Ron, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
With you. That's it's been a pleasure. And certainly I'm being obedient. So
I tell you had to do this? I probably did.
Probably. All right. Well, Teresa, as we start to wrap this up, let's find out from your heart what you want anyone who's going to pick up this book. Show it up loud and proud. Let's say the title of the book again. Let's share it out one more time. Ready? Chasing Easy.
In a life of hard choices.
Hard choices.
Yeah.
Right.
So really the message that this book holds for the people that dare to have their eyes grace the pages is a message of hope. It's a message of finding joy. It's a message of you are worthy, you are loved, you are cherished, you are adopted into sonship. And it doesn't matter. I want to speak to the people who maybe don't know God, have walked away from him, or believe in something different. I didn't believe in anybody or anything for 38 years of my life. And if you were here, and even for those people that are going to listen to this replay, Dave Trickett from prison talked about Randy, my brother, reaching out to me, trying to get me to discover who Christ was. And I poo-pooed the idea. I'm like, you're in prison, trying to manipulate me from prison. I don't want anything to do with him. And then, a couple of trials and errors later, and I'm thinking, I don't know this God because I just gave my heart to him and now I am pregnant and have no idea what to do. So I guess what I want to say is everything does happen for a reason. I hate that cliche, but we are responsible 100% for our lives and where we are in our lives. It's nobody else's fault. It was nobody else's fault, the things that I went through. But how you respond to that is what makes the difference. Are you going to be a victim or are you going to be a victor? And I can tell you that you will only be a victor if you find the one who created you to have victory in him. And of course, I'm talking about Jesus. So the message of hope is what I really want people to get. You don't have to be pregnant. You don't have to have gone through a failed marriage. You could have had other disappointments. But I think the message of unworthiness, of, I'm not good enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough, those messages resonate throughout the book.
So it's not just about the failed marriages and the unplanned pregnancies. It is ultimately about the God who restores. Message of
Right.
hope.
That's right. That's right. Well, all of you who agree out there, type it in the chat below. See who you agree with. And let's give away that signed copy of the book. Come on, girl. This is
So we
going to
get
be
a
the last
signed
one.
copy of the book. I'll autograph the book. And now this is really cool. I don't know if I want to part with it. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a 32-ounce water bottle. There's a place for your phone. I feel like I'm on an infomercial. A place for your phone, and then there's a place for your keys, and then a strap to carry it. So there you go. There's your hydration.
That's right. And you will be drinking and flowing as you read this book. Thank you so much, Teresa. Let's pull everybody up here as much as possible and have everybody say thank you, hello, and goodbye, and everything else we can finally get there. Come on, Ron. Show that camera. There he is. Look at that. Josh, he's got a book in his face. Don's going. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. Teresa, fantastic work. Drop in those links below. Let's get people going to Amazon and Barnes and Noble and pick up a copy of this book. You have friends, you know somebody who's had these types of struggles. Share it out with them. See how the word can spread, because that's the way someone, like Josh said, someone's out there who needs this. And as it
Yes.
graces the pages of your life, see how then you can share it forward. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Teresa. Everyone run out there and
Thanks,
get
everybody.
tasty easy in a life of hard choices. Go out there and do it. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.